Hi everyone, welcome to this week's Stencil Saturday video. This week we're just going to work on kind of a grid design, I guess you could say. I'm thinking that this is something that, you could put it behind. Let's say you had, I don't know, an applique block or something. You could easily use it for a background. But actually I'm thinking that I would probably use this in a border. So we're just going to see, obviously, a little portion of that. And what I'm using to mark this was my Lines and Grids stencil. And if you look at the stencil, so what I did was I laid it across the whole block and I marked it this direction. And then I just counted, I decided what looked nice, and then I turned the stencil and marked, actually what I did was 3 inches. So I marked 6. And I was able to line it up because you have these little dots and stuff here. So I could then just line up the dots on the stencil with that. And then I moved it up here and did the same thing. And so, of course, if you look at this, what it gives you is a 1/2 inch grid. So that's the first step. That's the first thing I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and do the top and the bottom first. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch out this whole 1/2 inch grid, as well as the 1/2 inch grid up here. And so that'll kind of be the first step. And then what I think we'll do, and I'll see what it looks like. I've been thinking, I've doodled this design out. So what I think we'll do then next is maybe, because these are 1/2 inch grid squares, I think I might want to do a 1 inch, which means that we'll just, instead of doing these 1/2 inch lines, we'll go, it's 1 inch between dots. So if I stitch, this will be the bottom of the top section. If I stitch across here and then kind of work my way back over every other line, that will give us a 1 inch. And then with that open center section, which will be right in the middle, I'm thinking we can do something different, like not a grid, but we'll figure that out when we get to that point. So let me go ahead and just, so to stitch the grid, I mean, you can start wherever you want. The top is already basted, so I'm going to go ahead and start at the bottom here of that little section. I'll stitch out 1, and then I can make the video sped up so you don't have to watch me do the whole bottom section. So, I'm on the line. I'm just going to use a straight ruler, and I'm just going to get all of these lines stitched in. Travel up to the next line and just do this until I get each of these horizontal lines stitched. Actually, I think that I'm going to leave, now that I'm thinking about this, if I'm going to leave 1 inch below this gridded section, I think I'm going to leave 1 inch above it as well, so that we're going to make this the last line, actually. Okay, so I want to go ahead and do these 1 inch across that section I left. And so I'm just going to backtrack here. Well, actually, yeah, I will. You could also do this. You could go down and back, which is actually probably what I would do, just because I'm going to have to travel on that other line down here for the other part. So that way it won't be getting too much backtracking on it. You just go back, down and back. Now this one, because I'm going to stitch this 1/2 inch grid, I can just go ahead and the whole way through Now we're doing the 1/2-inch grid. I love this tiny little 1/2-inch grid. It's just so, I don't know, clean looking. I really like it a lot. And I mean, there's so many options. You could have done this whole top section like I initially planned to do, as the 1/2-inch grid. That would have been fine. You may decide you want to add something to your 1 inches that are up at the top there. So it's kind of personal preference what you do with those. I like things kind of plain. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just travel down to the bottom here and go ahead and stitch out this bottom part real quick. Okay, now that I've finished the bottom and totally forgot that I wanted to keep that bottom one at 1 inch and open, so I'm definitely not ripping that out. So we're just going to go up to the top here, and we're going to make this top part match it instead of ripping out for sure. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to go down and back. But it would have been a lot easier to stitch had I just done this in the first place, I suppose. Okay, so now that that is done, go ahead and come down here, and we're going to stitch across, and I'm just kind of using these dots as my stitching line. Now that I'm looking at this, actually thinking that I want to make this an X because I have my points, so I am going to go ahead and do that instead of just having it be the same. So I'm going to go ahead and just zigzag my way across here, and I'm going every 2 lines. Overshot that one a little bit. And down to the bottom. And then I'll just do the same thing, the opposite direction. Oh yeah, I like that. scoot down to the bottom here and do the same thing. So we're going to use this row of dots to get our line. And again, we'll zigzag across here. And back. And now seeing this, I kind of know what I want to do in that center part. Well, okay, so let's come up here and just kind of look at this a second. So we have this nice open area. We have the little tiny half-inch grid going out to these little on-point squares. So one thing I could do would just be to do these as straight lines. But I think I want to do the same thing and kind of zigzag my way across. And these are just going to be elongated ones. But I think I want to do them. No, I probably should do them every other as well. So we're going to go ahead. These ones are going to do the same thing. These are just going to become elongated. So we're going to go up. And now you can, I mean, if you look, you're shooting for your points on your row down here. Here, we're going to do the same thing again. Okay, so now that I've finished stitching this, to get these threads out of my way here, and let me go ahead and get rid of the marks real quick. Okay, so I got rid of most of the chalk. There's a little bit on there still, but so we can take a look at this. I mean, I think it looks good. It's a really nice difference between, you know, having the grid and then going into something angular. Certainly, if you wanted to, if you had used maybe a nice puffy dense bat, you might want to go in and maybe do some kind of micro quilting in here to make these stand out. Or you could do the opposite up here. Maybe you do the little scribble stitch or something here to make these ones stand out. And then do it inside these to make these stand out. So that's entirely up to you. It's just a whole nother, you know, if you want to take it one step farther than this, that's an option. So let me turn this light off and we can, oh, that's nice. You can see it pretty good. And the texture, I mean, it's really great texture. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. and you might give some grid quilting a try. I mean, I think with grids, the possibilities really are endless, you know, the different options. You know, where I did a little square on point, maybe you would prefer to have a circle there or something. I mean, there's just an unlimited number of ways that you could have changed that up. So I hope you have a great week, and I will see you next time. Bye.